Good afternoon, everyone. This is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews, and I am your literary ambassador. And today I have Margo Thomas on my channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, tell us about yourself.
Okay, my day job, I am a program director of a program that prepares high school students for college, for while they're in college, as well as preparing them for their careers afterwards. I am a mom of one. I have two grandkids, and I'm married to Byron Thomas. We've been married almost 14 years.
Okay. Now tell us about your books that you have.
Okay, so I have two books. One is called I Am College Bound. It's my college prep planner, and that's for high school students that are preparing for the transition between high school and college. And then this one is Help, what I tell parents about preparing the high school kids for college. And that book is really a simple to use guide, easy to read for parents who are overwhelmed with helping prepare their high school students for college.
Okay. Would you like to read a snippet from one of your books?
All right, I will pull one from the I Am College Bound, and we'll do reflections of research my college, and I provide some worksheets that will help students to look at the college that they're thinking about, and they're using it for research. And so the reflections page talks about, now that you've looked at your potential college, here are some things to think about. I am considering this college because, and there's a space. This college has my first and second major choices, yes or no. The typical class size for my chosen college is blank students. My school provides housing for freshmen, yes or no. Going to this college is going to cost X amount of dollars each year. I can apply for various scholarships at this school. And
Mhm.
then it says the scholarship available to me at this school include, and it gives a space for the student to put that information in. And I've done this for 5 college choices because I've realized now the thing is students are applying for so many different colleges.
Mhm.
And I've given the option for them to write in at least 5 of them, maybe the top 5 that they're interested in.
Mhm. Do you hold events for parents as well?
Yes, I do. I've been doing a few Zoom meetings, mostly for students, but parents are also welcome. And I am planning a few Zoom meetings where it's really mostly geared towards parents, but students are also welcome to participate.
So, what steps would you give a junior in college about trying to prepare for college?
So in the planner, I have a checklist. Actually, in both books, I have checklists for each grade level from freshman to senior. Uh, for juniors, I definitely encourage if they haven't figured out what it is that they want to do when they graduate from college, do a career assessment. You can find those all over the internet. I encourage them to, once they figure out, they have some options. So let's say they have the top 3 or 4 jobs that they think, careers that they think they would be interested in. Then I encourage them to go to ONET online, which is a really great site for researching your career.
Mhm.
And they can look at, what types of jobs can they get in their career. They can look at how much they can be paid. You can drill it down to the area that you want to live in. You can look at what type of skills are needed, like the soft skills, and then also you can look at what level of education you need. So I encourage them to do that. Then I encourage them to look at college majors. I say to students all the time that my expectation for them at 17 or 18 is not that they know exactly what they want to do, but at least they have an idea. My reasoning for that is I've had a student who went into college to do pharmacy, and a year later he was doing PE. And those are too far away for you to, be spending money to try and figure it out at that point. So those are two scholarships. Looking for scholarships should be big as a junior, and then also taking ACT, SAT, keeping track of the scores, figuring out what scores you need for the schools that you're thinking about, and then also applying for as many of those scholarships as you can. So those are the major things that I work with juniors.
Okay, what inspired you to write these books?
The first one I thought about, so the program that I work with, I'd gone to a conference and we were given this book by, I can't think of who the author was, but it was like 50 things I wish someone had told me as a first generation student. And as I read that book, I kept thinking, wow, I could have written this book.
Mhm.
Why didn't I write this book? And so then I, thought about it, kind of pushed it back. And maybe about a month later, I was looking for some resources to give to my parents because we were getting closer to the end of the school year. And all of my seniors' parents kept calling, what are we doing now? What are we supposed to do? Although we had been working with their students all senior year, telling them the things that they needed to get done.
Mhm.
Parents weren't aware of what those things were. And as I was looking for it, I couldn't find anything that was specific to a parent. And then the things that I found were more academic. And a lot of the parents that I work with either have some college degree, have never graduated from high school. And so I wanted it to be simple enough that they could understand it. And even though I work at a college, I work at a community college,
Mhm.
my goal wasn't to write for the people who worked at my community college. It was more for the parents and the students who would be coming in to our college. And
Okay.
so that was what inspired me to do it.
What is your purpose?
My purpose is to get as many high school students to make better decisions, better financial decisions about going to college so that after they graduate from college, they're not crying about the amount of student loan debt that they have. It is really working with them before they get there and making sure that as they go through the process, like, because each process in the college journey is financial. I mean, we know it's academic, but it's definitely financial as well.
Okay. What was your publishing journey like?
Um, it's funny. I've been a part of an authors group for maybe 6 or 7 years. Didn't think about writing anything about that. Had thought about self-help. And so I'd been around that space with publishers and authors and editors and learning a lot of information. And I knew that I was going to self-publish. But then I also knew that I really didn't have a lot of time to figure it all out on my own. So I got a kind of a publishing coach who really kept me accountable. I did all the writing, got all the stuff that I needed together. I hired her. Junkanoo Publications was my publisher, and we worked together. And I remember I was at the point where I'd written everything and I kept putting it off. And every month I said, okay, I'll publish it next month. I publish it next month. And I remember she called me one Saturday and she said, you've been putting this off for a while. Let's get it done. And we sat down. She sat on the phone with me for about 3 or 4 hours, and we went from page to page to get the work done. So the second book, it was easy because I knew I didn't want her to have to do that with me the next time.
Mhm.
So I really, that book, I mean, I wrote it and I actually published it in the summer in the middle of the pandemic. So I thought my journey went pretty well. I didn't have any major issues. And I think because I'd already written the first one and had all the bumps and the bruises that go along with that, the second one was a little bit easier. Plus, it was a different type of book. So one is a book, and then the other one is more of a planner with worksheets and instructions and tips. And that one was a little bit easier for me because that is exactly what I do on a day-to-day basis.
Mhm. What avenues did you take to get your books out to the parents and students?
Um, well, a lot of it has been social media. I've done a lot of social media. I One of the things that I did for my birthday, so I turned 48 this year. I couldn't remember, but I went on social media, my personal page, and I posted something that says, hey, my birthday is this weekend, and I'm going to be 48, but we'll round it up to 50, and I need 50 of my friends to like and share this post. And actually, I ended up with about 60 people doing it. So I've done that. I've done a lot of going into Facebook groups and meeting different people. Of course, the interviews, I've done a number of those, either written face to face on Zoom. I've done a few lives. I've also done, I do Instagram. I'm still learning the process. I'm working on trying to get into some radio stations and locally. And I'd say because I did the information, I'm constantly putting information on my social media page. I had a friend who called, she was a member of sorority, and she said, hey, we have some young girls that we need to have this information shared with. And she said, well, we don't have a whole lot of money, but what we will do is buy the books. And would you be willing to do a workshop for us? And so I did that last night. And then maybe about 2 weeks ago, I got a call from someone that I know at one of the high schools who said, hey, we got a grant that we weren't expecting. And I know you've been working on this book for parents, and we want to be able to share this information with parents. So we need 75 of these books and 5 of the planners, and you do a workshop for us. So a lot of it is really that. I haven't done anything else. I am currently participating as a guest blogger on a website, and I'm going to incorporate some of that as well as some of financial literacy information. So I've really been pushing it and going out there as much as I can.
Okay. Okay. Um, what do you want parents to take away from your book and students to take away from your books?
I would say I need both to be prepared. I want parents to know that the senior year is not the time to start this journey. You should start this journey at least from a freshman, because in the senior year, students are way into the procrastination. There's so many things competing for their attention. They're looking at prom, graduation. We have to fight against senioritis that last semester. So there's so much riding on them being prepared before then, that if parents know exactly what needs to be done, then they're not so stressed and overwhelmed during the summer, right before the student is ready to go into college.
What has been your greatest accomplishment thus far as a author?
I think publishing the book, because those were things that I really, before, I never would have thought that this was something that I would have done. And the fact that I actually got it done and got not one book, but 2 books out. And then also even the going out and talking about it is an accomplishment for me, because even after graduating from college, I was the wallflower. You couldn't pay me to sit in the front of a group of people or to sit in front of this camera right now and talk to you. So I think those are the biggest accomplishments for me as it relates to being the author.
Have you had a student or a parent to come back and say thank you, or have you got any praise for your books?
The parent book, because the college bound planner is, we're doing a lot of getting it out right now. I have had, with the help book, I've had people in the high school level. I've had some teachers. I've had an assistant superintendent who really came back and said this book is definitely needed for our students, because I mean, even though they're being prepared for college, in high school not all of them are, and the support that both the student and the parents need is great. And a lot of times we don't acknowledge that the parents need the help. We're so focused on the student, and not understanding that if the student knows what's going on and the parent doesn't, then you still have that disconnect and the student doesn't have the support that he or she needs. So having, the assistant superintendent coming back and saying, great job on this, this is needed, has been a great thing for me.
Okay. What are you working on right now?
Promoting. The biggest thing right now is promoting. I have a few more in my head. I am thinking about creating a financial literacy workbook for high school students, high school and college students. I'm not sure how that's going to look yet, and I want it to look a little bit more, not really childish, but I don't want it to look like a full-on adult book. Oh, I'm thinking kind of cartoonish or something, but it's somewhat in my head in the back. I wanted to really focus on getting these out first and really promoting them as much as I can, because the first one I did not promote as much as I'm doing now. And I found that I've gotten so much more traction when I was really out here pushing, even even though everything is using Zoom and social media at this point. I think I've done a better job promoting the planner than I did the parent book initially. So that's where I'm at this point.
What do you do when you're not writing?
Working, thinking about it. Like I said, my day-to-day job is working with high school students. So I'm doing a lot of workshops for them. I'm doing one-on-one sessions with the seniors, helping them figure out some of the things that are in the book, which is preparing or researching your college, researching your major, researching your career, just figuring out how to budget. So a lot of what I'm doing right now is kind of the same as what I'm doing with the books, but it's a day job that I get paid day to day doing. And then other than that, I mean, I spend a lot of time with my author friends and missing the grandkids because they live about 2.5 hours away from us. So, that's the other thing that we try to get to see them as much as we can.
Okay. What are you currently reading now?
Whew, okay. What was I reading? I just read a book called Dream Again. Actually, another author friend, Anne-Marie Bryan, she had that book come out.
Yes.
And oh yes, you do know Anne-Marie. Yeah, I read her book, and I just purchased a book by another author that I know. Hers is I guess it's an anniversary one, and I can't think of the name, but I just downloaded it last night or yesterday. So that's the next one on my to-do for reading.
Okay. Where can we find you and your books?
On social media, I am Margo Thomas 20 on Instagram, Margo Thomas 20. On Facebook, personal one is Margo Sinclair Thomas. And I also have a group called Parents of College Bound Students. And the picture, because I think there's another Parents of College Bound Students, the picture is actually a copy of the book. So that's the one that you'll use. If you see that one, then you know that one is mine.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add before we close?
Let's get these babies to college and let's get them there knowing that we don't always have to take the traditional route. To me, higher education can be, you're going to get a vocational certificate. You're doing, air conditioning. You're doing radiology technology. Yesterday, my students had an opportunity to talk with this gentleman that has a music studio, production studio. And he talked about his journey to college, getting an associate's degree in music engineering. And now he is an entrepreneur making six figures. And so we wanted to be able to give them those opportunities so that they'll see that there's not just one traditional route. Any route essentially can get you to where you need to be. You just have to be persistent with it, but you have to have a plan. Don't just, throw it out there and think that it's going to stick. It's come up with some ideas, make a plan, and then work that plan.
Well, thank you for coming in today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me. I enjoyed it.
All right, can you share your books one more time, please?
Okay. It is what I tell parents about preparing their high school students for college. And
Okay.
then the other one is I Am College Bound, my college prep planner. And this is for high school students, ninth grade through 12th. And the help book is for a parent of a high school student who is working with their student to get them prepared for college.
Thank you again.
Thank you very much.
All right, this is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews. Happy reading. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Have a good one.